Hey folks, it's Carver. Thanks for checking out this second video of This Is What Trans Looks Like. I am wanting to spend a little bit of time today talking about, going a little bit more in depth about how I got to a place in my life where I felt really comfortable about transitioning and how I sort of came to my pronouns, if you will, or how I came to how I identify with my pronouns and sort of with my labels that are, we all have to have our labels. We don't have to have labels, but you know what I mean. When I started transitioning, it was officially, like I said in the previous video, it was physically started transitioning in June of 2016. That's when I got my first testosterone shot back in Halifax, Nova Scotia. My coming to that point, however, took a little bit of time. I started sort of playing around with my own gender identity in 2011. If I'm going to put a year on it, I would say 2011. However, of course, it has been sort of a lifelong journey to get to that point. It's not like I woke up one day and I thought, hey, let's change things up. Though I have been known to do that, but not in this particular instance. A little known fact about me is I have been queer my entire life, ever since I can remember. I have always, as female-bodied, I have always been attracted to other female-bodied people. However, now that I have done some sort of retrospective thinking, all of those people that I have been attracted to or have had relationships with have been a particular type of person. And I'm going to just label that person either butch or more masculine, more male. I don't even know what the right word is. And a little fun fact about most of those people that I dated, that I had a serious relationship with, have all come to their own terms on their own gender at this point in their lives. So some of them have transitioned as well. Some of them are using different pronouns, going by different names, sort of going on their own journey. And I realized that in dating them, that I was actually living vicariously through them. I, at that point of dating them and being in relationships with them, did not realize that I was actually wanting to be them. That took a long time to figure out. It took losing a lot of weight. It took watching somebody transition fully on their own and sort of stepping back and going, oh wow, that is really resonating with me. And I think I'm also wanting to start my own transition. The main factor for me was actually losing weight. I lost quite a bit of weight back in 2010. 120 pounds, and I realized that as my body was starting to square out and I was sort of becoming this box of a person and I was getting more muscles, that the weight that I carried for so long was actually a shield and or slash hiding something inside of me. And through all of that and being able to live vicariously through my partners, I didn't really need to delve into that. And so there came a point in my life, just after turning 31, where I decided that I needed to transition myself. And so I did. When I was beginning to transition, now, of course, seeing people before me do it, I guess I knew that it was sort of fluid. I didn't really think that you had to go from A to Z and do all the steps in between. I realized that everybody has their own journey. But there's something, I don't know, weird when you get to a place where you are also going to start transitioning, where it feels like you have to go completely to the other side. So I think one of the things that I was most fearful about in transitioning was that I thought that I had to go from being female presenting, whatever that was for me at that point, all the way to the other side of the spectrum. And of course I am, stalking people on Instagram, and I'm, looking at everybody else and seeing what they're doing. And it scared me because I felt like I also had to be where they were. And I didn't know that that's where I wanted to be. And I think that that's part of the reason why I was so resistant to starting my own transition, is because I thought once I started, I had to go all the way to the other side, not realizing that it is so fluid. And that's really one of the beautiful things I'm finding about this whole idea of transitioning for anybody, is that we're not cookie cutters. There's not a set standard of rules that we have to follow by, meaning that you're going to do A, B, C, D, and E, and once you are all done, congratulations, you have finished transitioning, and now you can check a new box, or you can go through another door, or whatever. So I didn't realize that, I thought that what was going to happen to me is I was going to go from marking F on the box to marking M on the box, and I didn't really necessarily think that that's what I wanted. I thought that if I started testosterone, that I was going to have to grow facial hair, and I was going to grow a big beard, and I was going to get big muscles, and and eventually I was going to have top surgery, and then eventually I was going to have bottom surgery, and all of that's very scary as you're starting out your transition. And then I realized that I get to sort of choose what this looks like for me. And I'm starting to learn how other people's choices are also helping me in deciding what my choices are going to be. I've met quite a few people who, for whatever reason, they only take testosterone or very low doses for a voice drop. And when their voice drops, they're going to stop. And that gave me a lot of freedom to be like, okay, so once my voice drops to where I like it, and I'm actually quite happy where it is right now, I can stop, because my voice won't change from here on out. I don't think. I'd have to research that. I'm not sure. I have met people who have had top surgery, and that's it. And they are not doing anything else after that. They've had top surgery and not taken testosterone. They take testosterone and never have top surgery. They never take testosterone, never have top surgery, never have bottom surgery, and still identify as male. This is so awesome. Like, this whole freedom of being able to choose what I want to do in my own transition gives me a lot of comfort and a lot of safety. And so where I am at today is identifying more non-binary than male or female. At any given point of the week, I shift back and forth. It's very rare that I'll go more feminine, but there are some times where I will do something or have a movement or have a thought where I'm like, that feels more feminine to me, and I need to sit with that, and that's okay, whatever that means, because my definition of feminine is not the same as everybody else's definition. Also, in the masculine role, in the masculine part of that, or masculine spectrum of that, sometimes I'll do something where I'm like, holy shit, that was super manly for me, and I need to be okay with that. And I also need to understand that what might feel manly to me may not feel manly for somebody else, right? So a good example is, I can't even, let's be honest, I can't give you a good example right off the top of my head, but whatever. I think that the greatest thing that I've learned in the last 18 months that I've been physically transitioning now is that it is so fluid. And if anybody out there who is trans is thinking about taking the first step and physically transitioning, and you're like, fuck, I can't see myself over there, that's okay, because you know what? You don't have to be over there. You can be wherever you want to be. And that's really the beautiful thing about this whole thing is you get to be where you want to be. One of the things that I'm really struggling with, just to sort of go off topic here, is shaving. So totally random. I really like shaving. I like shaving my arms. My armpits. Sorry if there's any sweat under there. And I've really struggled with that just in the last couple of months, because I work out a lot and I wear a tank top, and so there's that notion of I want to be seen as more masculine and less feminine, but as soon as I lift weights, you're going to see my armpit and there isn't going to be any hair under there, and we all know that very rarely do men shave their armpits. So then all of a sudden there's this fear of, holy crap, I'm outing myself. So I have struggled with letting it grow or letting it not grow, and I go back and forth. And right now I'm in a shaving mode. So if you see me working out, bare armpits. Yeah, so that's sort of where I'm at, is just being really fluid and really just not setting myself in stone. It can be hard, though, and because, societal stuff and trans stuff and non-trans stuff, and there's just all these things coming at you, and it can feel really heavy when you feel like you're forced to make a decision, or you feel like you're forced to go down a certain path because you think that's what you should be doing, and part of you feels like that's not the right thing. So yeah, not really sure where I was going with this today, but I wanted to hang out with you guys, and here we are. We're 11 minutes in, and I feel like I'm done. So this is video number 2 of This Is What Trans Looks Like. I have an Instagram channel. I wrote it out here for you. I don't know if it's going to come out backwards, but it says What Trans Looks Like, and Carver Carlson, which is my personal Instagram. They go back and forth right now as I try to figure out what the 2 channels are going to do. Yeah, so, come hang out with me. Let's talk about stuff. If there's anything that you're interested in, you want to talk about, I got some ideas brewing. Yeah, so, hey, have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.